Now, we all want to be really smart with our money, but apparently you really have to plan for the worst case scenario. Steve has some tips for us today.
No matter how smoothly things are going with your finances, things can always go wrong. Your car could break down, you could lose your job, so you have to start thinking about an emergency fund. Michael Libertini here is the branch manager for Bank of Hawaii here on Ward. Now, Michael, when we talk basically, people that don't have an emergency fund at home, what are we talking about? How do they get started?
Well, first, you want to take a look at your budget. Really, the first thing you want to do is take a look at your expenses on a month-to-month basis and find out how much you can feasibly start from just saving a little bit all the way up to something as big like an emergency fund.
Okay, so what are we talking about? What kind of expenses do we take into account?
So you want to take a look at expenses like rent, utilities, food, your basic necessities for living. And then anything above and beyond that, things like lattes and going to the gym, those are things that you could probably limit and start saving towards that emergency fund.
Okay, so how much are we talking about? Are we talking about like 1 month, 2 months expenses?
Typically, we like to recommend that our customers find, something if they were to have an emergency, like an unexpected job loss, they could start saving for how long they would take to recover from that. So I would say anywhere between 3 to 6 months is pretty typical. And if you were to say, my expenses are $2,000 a month, then we probably need to start at around $6,000 as a target.
Okay. So now there are some people that are just saying, well, there are other options out there. I'm already saving for retirement. What's the difference there?
Well, a retirement account is just for that, retirement. You don't want to be dipping into your long-term funds for later down the road. So an emergency cash fund is something that you can have accessible, available to you now, and that in the event of an emergency, you could pull out right away.
Okay, so there are some other things that look more attractive, maybe some online savings accounts. They kind of have better yields. What about those?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Many of our customers have opted to have online accounts just in case and want to earn a better return on that. However, if no one wants to be in an emergency situation and not be able to get access to their funds. So your local bank would probably be the most accessible to have a savings account or an emergency type fund for that reason.
Okay, so there's lots to think about. Any other last minute tips that people should think about when they're talking about the emergency fund?
Well, just think about, there's right now the big ticket items are things like home repairs, right? A lot of people doing renovations and thinking about, well, what about my water heater goes out, things like that. So you want to anticipate for those emergencies as well. So unexpected job loss, home repairs, or even medical expenses.
Okay, so no more storing it under the mattress, right? That doesn't work.
Not at all, not at all. Get it into a good bank.
Okay, Michael Libertini, we appreciate it. By the way, this complete interview, all the information is going to be on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll be right back.